he's a cutie pie. I might put him in Potomac. Okay, yes. Yeah, he can come right on to Potomac.
What's up, Sky Squad? We are back in the building with Monique Samuels. It has been an insane past couple of weeks on the Real Housewives of Potomac. And I'm not even going to get into a whole lot of banter. We're just going to dive right in. I just want to say, first off, Monique, how are you doing post this episode?
I'm doing great. This is the good thing about true healing. When you have gone through the whole journey and you've truly grown and moved forward, then you just feel completely unbothered and you're just going along with the ride. And that's where I am right now. I'm completely at peace. I feel good about my journey, and I'm excited for the fans and viewers of the show to see the entire process as it plays out each episode.
So I noticed on Sunday you posted a photo, and I'm gonna call it your Rocky photo, okay? You posted a photo in your workout gear, looking like you was ready to do battle, but you also looked at peace. And in that, you basically allow people the opportunity to say whatever they felt. What sparked that?
I have always been an open book since I've been on this platform. I've never deleted comments. I've never limited comments. I rarely block people unless they're being absolutely disrespectful. And I just wanted to remind people, feel free. Talk about the episode. Whatever it is that you want to get off your chest, whatever it is that you want me to hear, I want you to feel free in doing that and have the conversation. And I was totally open to it. The picture that I posted prior to that was of me, my husband, and our kids. And I saw some comments coming through that were talking about the show. So I said, give me a second. I'm going to post another picture so that y'all can have that conversation over there. You know, leave my family picture alone. So I wanted the fans and the viewers of the show to know that I respect their opinion. And even if I don't like it, or if it challenges me, I welcome it. I embrace it.
In viewing the episode back, was there anything that surprised you that you saw that you did not witness that day? And I know it's been a year, but
I just remember being so like back and forth with recalling everything that happened and in what order. You'll see that initially when I got pulled into that back room, I was like, wait, what's on my face? Like, is that wine on my face? I'm like, did she hit me with a glass? I'm trying to figure it out. And then even in those moments, I start recalling more and more and more. I think I recalled more by the end of that night than I did the days to follow. I was very confused and conflicted, going back and forth, like, how did we get here? And then also I had to go right back into mommy mode. So I didn't have the ability to just sit back and dissect and, you know, drink a cup of microwave tea to get over it. I was doing hair. I was doing Milani's hair the next day.
We saw that. And I was thinking to myself, how did you bounce back? Because it was almost like, oh, well, we're right back to business. How did you go into, like, snap right back into, I got things to do?
I had no choice. I did not have time to process the fight. When I got home that night, me and my husband talked, and then one of my kids woke up, and I'm back cuddling the baby in the bed, putting them back to sleep. The next morning, I'm up getting my son ready for school, getting Milani's hair done. I had no choice. That night, I had an event with Robyn, Dixon at DSW. The day after that, I had a bunch of family coming in town because my husband got inducted to the Ring of Fame for the Redskins. I had to host family. I had to go to an event that Saturday. That Sunday, we were at the game honoring my husband. That Monday, I was in a Bravo photo shoot. I had no time to process anything. That Tuesday is when I sat down with the ladies, which you're going to see on this upcoming episode. I had no time to process it.
Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned a couple of things that happened right after that, because I do want to touch on a couple of those things, but I do want to get back to the altercation. In terms of the glass or whatever that we kept seeing her swinging the glass. Was that what hit you in the face because you were bleeding?
When you saw that initial splash in my face, that splash was accompanied by a glass as well. The glass hit me in my face. and it actually caused the impact from the glass hitting my face caused my tooth to bust the inside of my lip. So I didn't get cut with a sharp broken glass. No. That is why I maintained holding her down, because she was trying to cut me with these glasses that were in her hand. Glasses were flying everywhere. So I was not going to let her go until I knew I could be safe.
Okay, so that explains what I was going to ask next, because you like had her with a vice grip. Like, I am not letting go. So a lot of people were wondering why that was. So,
well, I had to subdue the threat. If you hit me in my face with a glass, and now I'm in a state of shock. At one moment, I even kind of blacked out. And then it was just like, whoa, and I see glasses still coming. Now I'm punching, I'm swinging, I'm smacking, you know. So after that, it's just like, I'm not letting her go until I know I can get away without getting cut or getting hit once again.
Right. When you were in the elevator, because these are questions that I keep getting. When you were not in the elevator, in the, I guess, the hallway with the producer, what made you want to go back inside or to get back around to her?
She was yelling outside of the door, "Fired, you're fired, that ghetto hood rat B." She's saying all of these things after we literally just fought because of your mouth. And you're still talking. So I'm amped up. I just fought. I'm going to go get some more. I'm like, okay, let me go ahead out with a bang. You know, at this point, I'm like, you're still talking. So I'm amped up, still in fight mode at this point. Right. So now I'm like, okay, since I'm fired, let me go ahead and finish her off. That was what my mindset was then.
Looking back on it, how, would you have handled it the same way?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If looking back on it, now we had 3 instances where her and I, over the course of 7 weeks, 3 incidents. Ashley's dinner, Ashley Sip and See, the lake house. I should have known that night, because prior, she would not engage the conversation I was trying to have with her. But that night, for some reason, she wanted that conversation. That's why I said, she's over there. I'm like, I'm done with Candiace. I'm not paying her no mind. I'm over her. She's over there. And then she got upset. Oh, well, you're canceled. You know, she started going like crazy after that. So then it turned into, you're pretending to be asleep and all of these things. I'm just like, it was just like, if you want to know if I was sleeping, just ask me. Hey, were you sleeping? Because I was kind of offended that you didn't say bye to me. Simple as that. But the way she presented the conversation was very aggressive in nature. And all of the theatrics with the spinning around and doing all of that, I was laughing. I was just like, this girl's crazy. You know, I'm like, go ahead, spin. I'm encouraging her. Go ahead, girl. I would not have played with crazy. So that's one thing that I had to learn. You do not play with crazy. You walk away from crazy. Right. So I should not have encouraged her with the spinning. I should not have said, go ahead, girl. What's that chia pet you got on? What's that? I should not have done any of that. I should have walked away as soon as they kept asking and saying, hey, how are y'all? Y'all know how we are. Y'all witnessed how we are. Y'all know I'm not fooling with her. So why are you even asking? And I should have just excused myself then. And then we wouldn't have this big mess. But at the end of the day, I've learned so much about myself. I've identified what my triggers are. I am very aware of my actions. And I can do nothing now but just accept full responsibility for the position I put myself in and for the actions that I took. And it's made me a grown, bigger person. Like, I'm on another level now. So, we live and we learn.
Yeah, because I was going to admit, and I'm going to go back to that post you put on Instagram. That was pretty brave to do, knowing what people could potentially say. Did you read any of the comments? And I know that they were, because I saw the post, it was positive and negative on both sides. Did you read the comments? Are you aware of what the streets were saying?
I have not read because I just felt like we all have our limits. And at the end of the day, I know that the people commenting, they can only go off of what they've seen so far. They can only go off of what they've been giving, as far as the story goes. And at the end of the day, there's like 15,000 comments. I don't have time to read through all of that. And I pretty much know that the consensus is going to be split. There's going to be people who judge and say, I would never do that. And there's going to be people who can say, yeah, I probably would have reacted the same way. You know, there's going to be people wishing me well, and there's going to be people that are wishing me to fail. So it is what it is. There's nothing that I can do to control that. I don't want to control that. And I just want people to keep watching.
I like the way you handled that. I think it was bold. I think it was brave. And I think it was, I didn't expect it. I did not expect it at all. And I thought that was kind of different for somebody to kind of just say, you know what, here I am, voice your opinions either way or the other, because it allowed people the opportunity to have an outlet for either their support or their criticism or feedback. So I think that was a really dope thing to do. I want to ask you something else. During the episodes with you and Candiace at the lake house, you know, a lot of us were wondering, I think just from a viewer's perspective, you guys seem to have building tension that was not discussed. Yeah. Why was it not discussed? Because it came across on the camera like, okay, Monique is angry about something, but what is it?
I had to make the tough decision because there's like two shows going on right here. You have the show that's on TV, and then you have the show that's behind the scenes. And I did not want to bring the behind the scenes show to the cameras because of the nastiness of the rumors. If it were as simple as, oh, Monique is cheating on her husband, I would have just said that. But the rumors were so much deeper. The lies that were targeted to, and let me be clear, this isn't rumors in the streets of Potomac. This is rumors in this group. Production, cast, this was pitched to them by an ex-friend of mine of 14 years who was just simply upset and wanted to like get back at me. Plain and simple. Can't really excuse it, can't really explain it. And the rumor that she said, now I openly talk about, which I did not want to, but once Candiace went live a few weeks ago and talked about her and her plot buddies, talking about me behind my back when they were in California and I'm home taking care of my new baby, she started to share with the viewers that the real plan was to say that my child was not of my husband. That was the rumor. Candiace admitted in her own live that she told them that's not going to fly because Chase looks just like his dad. So then they had to come up with a different angle. And that's the end that they put on it. I did not want to have my child's name being mentioned in that context on a reality show. So I had to make the very tough decision. Do I just keep moving, put a smile on my face, welcome these women around, and do what I need to do to protect my child? Or do I bring all of this and put it all out on Front Street? And I did not want to do that. But Candiace had kind of forced my hand with the live. And that's why my husband and I responded. For those who didn't see it, you can go scroll down Richie's page and then go to my live on Instagram. You know, and it kind of explains all of that backstory. That incident does not excuse the physical altercation. And I want to be very clear about that. The only reason we're talking about the whole real rumor and that whole plot is because Candiace put that information out there. I'm not discussing this to excuse my actions. I've owned and accepted my actions. So those are two different things that's going on right now. But there was a lot of tension that led up to that moment. And I felt as though Candiace, by inviting Charisse around, because Charisse was also involved in that whole situation, was her inviting that conversation to the cameras. And she knew that. And I just could not believe that this person who I considered a friend would throw me under the bus in this way that she was doing. And then act like, oh my God, I can't believe Monique is mad. Why is she upset? Like, come on.
That's the interesting thing about reality television. A lot of times is that, you know, there's things that you kind of have to balance addressing because you really want to make sure that the viewers get to see what's actually playing out versus something that may be going on behind the scenes that no one should really be talking about, right? So there's a balance with that, and I understand I understand where you were going with that. I want to ask you something else because I want to kind of pivot just a little bit from the altercation with Candiace and into the sort of feeling you got from the other ladies with regards to the altercation. You mentioned that you had a DSW event, and we've seen photos of you and Robyn pictured together after the event. How was the support from her and the other ladies, if there was any, immediately following the event?
Well, Robyn and I were working, so we didn't get to like talk about what happened the night before. At any point, we didn't discuss it, and I mean, the vibe was definitely. It was like one of those situations where we wanted to talk, but we couldn't because people are around. And we were cool. It was fine. While I was at that event, I got a text from Wendy Osefo, and she texted me to check on me. So when I left the event, I texted her back and I said, "Wow, thank you so much. I appreciate you checking on me." And she called me and we talked for 20 minutes. And in that conversation, she actually said, you know, she was just like, "Girl, I remember when I was in high school. I remember, oh, girl, yeah, you got egged on. And, you know, I can relate to that, this, that, and the other." She was saying all of these things as if she understood my position. She didn't say she agreed with how things went down, but she came from a more understanding place. And I appreciated that. Then lo and behold, on the next Tuesday, in front of the whole group, completely flipped the script. Completely. It went from that almost support to the lashing, you know? So I was very surprised. But in that moment, I was like, I'm not here to argue with them. I came here to be accountable for my actions, to kind of like try to piece everything together based off of what I recalled versus what they saw, and try to make sense of it all. And then I also wanted to take ownership and then tell them, hey, I'm going to be moving forward in this journey. I'm going to be seeing my pastor. I'm going to see a therapist. I'm going to get down to the bottom of this so this never happens again. And I was met with just like kicking me 6 feet, 12 feet, 15 feet deep. So instead of them saying, "Okay, we hear you," it was just like, "Well, you're going to hear some more. Now we're going to really throw you out, like kick you down." Like, it was just unbelievable. It was almost like, in the same sense, when I couldn't hear Candiace apologizing to me at the lake house, they could not hear me accepting responsibility. So literally the same type of energy.
Wow. So in that moment, we've seen in the preview where Gizelle tells you that she doesn't want to be around you again. How much did that affect you at that moment?
It didn't. Giselle doesn't want to be around me anyway. Leave. We ain't gonna miss you. It's just funny because Gizelle is probably the biggest walking hypocrite on our show. You know, like, she's just a hypocrite. Like, you're a first lady who says that you embrace women, but you find every chance to kick a woman down. She did it when Karen was going through it with her tax issues with Ray. She kicked her down. She made T-shirts about it. Is that how you're supposed to act as a first lady or a woman who is upholding a certain type of character in the Black community? No, you literally escorted Robyn in season 2 to Ashley's Black-owned business, her restaurant, and Robyn commenced to putting her hand all up in her face, touching her arm, by the way. And then Gizelle comments and says, "Yeah, Sharice will drag you over the river right there." That was. Y'all remember that line? I'm like, this is an upholding Black woman? Like, girl, bye.
There's this idea that I think we see in a preview where Wendy talks about, you know, this narrative of Black women being aggressive. I don't believe that. I don't believe it because I think as Black and brown people, we have a reason to be angry. Because when we look at the things around us, we see systemic racism around us. So I don't believe in that label because I believe we are allowed to feel anger and hurt and dismay. And it is because we have not been allowed to do that that we now look at ourselves through this different lens of, oh, you can't act this way. You can't be angry. How did you feel about that when she said that in the preview?
I feel as though Black people, we are the epitome of grace and mercy. I mean, we're the ones that will sit there and forgive somebody and hug them right away when our child has been murdered. We've seen it with the families that have had to bear witness to police brutality. We are the epitome of grace and mercy. I think when it comes down to the idea that if a Black woman acts emotionally out of control at any given moment, oh, you're aggressive and you're a part of the stereotype, that's what's in their mind. Because who are you putting on a pedestal? And why do you have that person on that pedestal? Me? I don't esteem anybody but God. So at the end of the day, I am a human being. I've messed up. I've accepted accountability. I've accepted ownership for my actions. I represent Monique Samuels. Can I be a role model? I still can be a role model because now I'm going to show you how to act and how to move after you've messed up, how to own your stuff instead of playing a victim. So I'm going to walk in that lane. And at the end of the day, there's so many other races out there who've demonstrated the same type of behavior.
So many other shows with so many other different races and ethnicities, you know, people have their moments. And I've talked about that. Something else that was talked about in the preview clip was this idea of you sending your lackeys or your people out to spread the information about the altercation. How do you respond to that?
First of all, how would that benefit me for this fight to be leaked a whole year ago? I don't want to have to live through it right now. I didn't want to have to live through it back then. Why would I want people to know about it right at that moment? How would that benefit me? So to think that I have to pay people to do my bidding when everyone has witnessed, I have a mouth on me and I know how to use it. I know how to speak my mind. I keep it real with people. There's no reason for me to have other people do my bidding. Do I have a great support? Absolutely. I cannot help that there are people out here who watch the show and like to have my back. Candiace has people that have her back, very few in numbers, but she has her people. And at the end of the day, you cannot sit here and fault me or blame me or say that I'm paying somebody for love and support. Am I not deserving of love and support and understanding the same way everyone else has that same love and support? Why is it always about my money? On this show, since I came onto the show, they say that I'm the one bragging. No, they're bragging. They're bragging on what I have. They keep talking about how I'm supposedly spending my money. Show me a receipt of a blogger or a fan page that I have paid.
Wait, speaking of receipts, I got to ask this question because this comes up from the episodes. The podcast, the 200,000, can you break that down for people? Not to be in the financial business, but it was brought up on the show.
Yeah, no, it's fine. People think that because of the way, everything was shown on the show, when they hear those numbers, they're thinking I'm talking about the podcast. First of all, I've had Not For Lazy Moms for 6 years. That is the total I've spent on legal bills. I offer health advice, so I have to have my legal stuff in check. I have to have commercial liability insurance, which I pay every year. I have a whole team of people, including web designers and graphic people that I have to pay. I have salaries that I have to pay. And I did not stop paying my people during this COVID pandemic, just so people know, even though this was in the past. But I keep making sure that my team is compensated. And I also have different legs of Not For Lazy Moms. We have a website. We have the video portion. So when I do those videos, I'm paying a crew to come here and to film me and do all of that, set up lighting and all of those things, edit it down. Whenever I have a live podcast event, it's a full out event. It's not just sitting down and doing a podcast show and streaming it. It's actually a whole audience. There's a whole staff that's involved because there's food and beverage. There's a stage that is set. There's furniture that's rented. And it's a whole production. I hire photographers. I hire videographers. All of those expenses add up. When I was filming, I had not yet met with my accountant. So I was trying to throw out numbers based off of the top of my head. So the actual final number in 6 years was more around 150,000 when I finally got the numbers back. But all of that is not just a podcast. That is also paying salaries for my employees and everything else. And then planning out the next phases. I have an app that is in development that costs money, so it's a lot of things that cost. And I'm just investing into this business, which I feel is going to be a huge multimedia platform that's going to offer so much events and everything else. So that's what that is.
Vision. Okay. I got you. Listen, you have answered way more than I even anticipated in this quick fire session. I know you got a bunch of other interviews to do today. I just want to say thank you for being open. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for being brave. And thank you for just telling your truth and not running away from it. I think as viewers, I think especially as people continue to watch, I'm not sure what's going to happen next, but I think when we look back at this moment with you being so open and transparent, I think it'll give people a lot more insight into who you are as a person. So just keep doing that. That's what I would say. Just keep being yourself, keep opening up, answering the questions, the hard questions, not shying away from it. And we just want to say thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate the support. And I don't want people to think that I'm paying you for what you just said. Because
oh no, that was for me. That was just for me, just sitting in this interview, just thinking to myself, like, wow, it takes a big person to just say, I own what happened, and then to move from it and grow. So I just want to say that no payment here, y'all. No payment here. Okay.
Oh my God, it's so ridiculous. It's really like frustrating when people say that.
I just kind of ignored it at this point, because at the end of the day, it's just like, I just want people to be able to tell their stories. Yeah. That's the most interesting thing about reality television to me. And thank you for sharing some of your story with us. So
thank you.
With that being said, y'all, Sky Squad, listen, tune in for the next video. If we get an opportunity to chat with Monique, maybe around the reunion or afterwards, we'll try to make it happen just to see what her thoughts are at that point in time. Monique, thank you.
Thank you.